Hi everyone, welcome to a new Let's Play for a new game. The game is called Surviving Mars and it's out on the 15th of March 2018. I was lucky, like many other YouTubers and streamers, to get my hands on a bit early, so I'm able to make this content for you. And yeah, I'm going to be doing a Let's Play, and I've actually already recorded the first part of the Let's Play. I'm just re-recording the intro because there's a few key details that I wanted to get across before we get into the stream part of the video. So I would describe Surviving Mars as a city builder. It's very similar to classical SimCity. I would say it's SimCity meets Elon Musk's vision for a colonial Mars, or perhaps even Kim Stanley Robinson's from the Red, Blue and Green Mars series. And I've really enjoyed the time I've played with it so far. When I started the stream, I had played about 20 or so hours. I didn't rush to making content as quickly as some people. I wanted to make sure I actually knew how to play it properly first. And yeah, I think that the videos will definitely benefit from me having done that. It's very much a resource management type game and a Macsen type game, which is kind of right up my street. It's what I do a lot of on the channel, but mainly with 4X games. So yeah, at this point I guess I should get into the options that I actually chose. Okay, so here we are within the game's options, and I should also mention as well the game is made by Haemimonts Games and published by Paradox Interactive. Paradox were kind enough to give me my copy of the game. I'm actually planning on splitting this Let's Play up into two parts. The first part will be called MartianBorn, and I'm basically trying to achieve halfway through the milestones, which I'll be showing later on when we get to the stream part. So basically that is entailing getting the first people, first colonists to have children on Mars. And the second part will be from that point on, completing the future milestones. I'm not sure if I will do a second part. It's kind of down to how well these videos do on YouTube. I'm gonna wait and see before making a final decision, but I certainly hope that yeah, the videos do well, because I'm really enjoying playing the game so far. Right, at this point then, let's get to these options and I'll go over those in detail. So this is the mission sponsor list, which is basically a number of nation states that are likely to potentially colonize Mars, or indeed companies. And yeah, basically you have to choose from one of these, and there's a number of abilities that they each have, or levels of funding, research and starting applicants, those who actually want to colonize Mars, and however many rockets they happen to start with also. So some of these should be pretty familiar to you. There's certainly the nation states, and there's yeah, as I mentioned, some companies here, or at least some inspired by certain companies such as Space-Y. When I was actually streaming, this was the choice that I went with. This is what chat wanted me to go with, and yeah, no surprises really there, since that's of course inspired by SpaceX. So with Space-Y, it actually increases the difficulty pretty significantly. I had before starting the stream been playing quite a bit with the likes of India, Europe and Russia, well, at least up until a certain point in the game early on, just to learn how things work. With Space-Y, they start with a heck of a lot of rockets, no real surprise there. Funding isn't anything spectacular. Research is one of the lowest, I would say, and also the starting applicants is one of the lowest. But they have a nice special ability. The drone hubs start with additional drones. Drones are the worker bees, so to speak, the robots that create your colony before the colonists arrive. You can't immediately get humans onto Mars because they wouldn't have anywhere to live. So at least in this game, that's not the plan. Also, they have cheaper advanced resources which can come in handy later on, definitely. So yeah, pretty nice pick. Difficulty is ramped up a heck of a lot. This is a way of literally ramping up the difficulty and also of keeping score as well, which comes in with the milestone bonuses I'll be showing later. So yeah, I picked Space Y, and the other options I went for the colony logo. I decided, well, let's go through them and show them to you. The logo that I decided on happened to be One Small Step, which I thought looked a bit like Starman, since we were going SpaceX. Maybe could have gone with the drones there, Mr. Handy, since yeah, Space Y happens to have a nice drone bonus, but One Small Step was the option I picked. For the commander profile, this is pretty important. This is who's yeah, leading the colonization effort. There's quite a few nice options, and this actually does change the difficulty as well. So I could have gone for something like this, which complements the drone ability, but I don't really didn't think that was all that good, and it actually was quite limited in one way, because there's a date where it runs out, the extra drone optimization. The other options, oligarch, yes, a fuel bonus. So they all slightly improve something in one way or another. Some of them are definitely better than others, and you can see the difficulty bonus going up for certain ones. Futurist is probably one of the worst ones, arguably, since the difficulty bonus goes up more. Not sure I completely agree with that, though. That's not too bad in my opinion. I do like that sense attack, which I'll be talking more about later on when I get to the stream part. Yeah, so I thought that rocket scientist would be bad because we didn't need an extra rocket since we start with 5. That's quite a lot with Space Y. So the option I actually went for was politician. Funding is very, very important, although this lowered the difficulty bonus much more than the others do. Basically the plan is to raise the difficulty bonus significantly with some of the options I picked later on, which I'll be getting to shortly. When I start the stream part of the video. So yeah, it was politician that I went with, and yeah, we'll get extra funding from that tech and also that ability. The last thing I should mention before I get to the stream part is the mystery that I happened to pick. So what this is basically is, and I think this only would happen in the second part of the Let's Play, that's when it comes in. It's kind of a story part to the game, where you have to accomplish a specific objective based on whichever option you pick. This once again increases the difficulty bonus from as little as 10% for the power of 3 all the way up to an extra 60% for Mars Gate. Now all of these actually give a reference or a quote from someone, but to be honest, they doesn't really tell you much about what yeah, they entail or what you have to do, but it can be guessed maybe. The Inner Lights one, that's actually an episode of Star Trek TNG, the one with the flute, I believe. Mars Gate, perhaps that's Stargate series, something to do with that, but it's got a quote from Isaac Asimov, so maybe I'm wrong. Wildfire actually mentions the Spanish flu, so that's highly likely going to be a pandemic that you have to solve, I'm guessing. I actually in the end went with the random option, which is a bit strange because it doesn't actually increase the difficulty bonus on that, but presumably it could be increased depending on which random one you get, between 10% and 60%. So in reality now, yeah, it's probably an average of 160 difficulty bonus at this stage, but it could be 190, it could be 140-ish with if we got that one with a random pick. I don't, although I've streamed the first part of the Let's Play, I don't actually know which mystery I got yet, because that comes in the second part. Right, at this point then, those are the options I picked with the help of chat in stream. And let's get to the cargo and also the point where I landed on Mars, which I recorded earlier. Let's go on to the next step then. So this is really a key decision here, what you actually bring to Mars. Now I don't think this actually increases the difficulty at this stage. The next step will. I'm going to be increasing the difficulty considerably on that next step. But yeah, this is going to be very, very important, and yeah, what you select here really matters. So there's certain prefabricated buildings that you're going to want. Because we are space wide, we actually have a lot of rockets, so I could get stuff brought yeah, pretty easily up from Earth in theory, as long as I have the funding. You have a cargo capacity, which matters. Actually, sending a rocket doesn't seem to cost any funding, which is a bit surprising. So I'm thinking of not bringing one of those, which I normally would. I'm going to hope to find some water, but I will want a fuel refinery. Hopefully, well, we need water for that. We'll have to. I think, yeah, basically you can turn carbon dioxide and water into rocket fuel, potentially. I think Elon Musk has mentioned methalox, how he intends to solve that issue, which is methane as well, if my memory is correct. So we're going to get fuel refinery and drone hub. There's some other things here. Now these are basically factories which require people. People don't initially colonize Mars, it's drones, but people will be sent later on. So I think that's what I'm going to do for now, for those options. There's specialized rovers, so I definitely want some of those. Let's get that rover. Let's get the explorer if I can. Actually lacking cargo capacity, so yeah, you can see how much of an issue this can be. I want, yeah, the exploration rover to start, I think. The transport I'll get at a later date. I've got 1,000 left, so I could have one more drone. 15 machine power. I need some polymers. Let's take that off. Orbital probes. I could get them later, maybe. They are important, but yeah, I get them on a different rocket. So let's get more machine parts. 1,000 left. How much for? Okay, I'm thinking that for the start. Maybe one orbital probe. Okay, so we got 2 prefab buildings, 2 rover types, 3 extra drones to do the work, a decent amount of advanced materials. I don't need food to start because there's no people there. Concrete and metals I can find on Mars. Those ones I can't initially. I'll have to make them eventually. Auto probe reveals stuff which would be good with the Explorer rover. So I think that's the initial rocket that I'm going to be sending. So I'll have a quick look at chat, see what they think about that. Right. Okay. Yeah, definitely planning on min-maxing like crazy in this Let's Play, showing you a few optimization tricks and whatnot. This is very much a game for min-maxing, especially on the harder difficulties, because you literally won't be able to succeed without min-maxing. So yeah, let's go on to the next step, and let's at this stage raise the difficulty quite a bit. So this is Mars. I didn't actually realize that it was literally a proper picture of Mars initially when I started playing this, but you can see Valles Marineris here, which is a massive canyon across the face of Mars. Mars is a lot smaller planet than Earth, of course, but I believe, if my memory is correct, that the entire land surface of Mars is the same as Earth, even though it's a lot smaller, because Earth has oceans, of course, so not everything is land. But there's a number of recognizable features that you can see here, not just the Valles Marineris rift. There's also Olympus Mons, which I believe is the biggest volcano in the solar system. It's not active though, I think. So yeah, I could actually set up here. You can see on the right there's a number of details. So there's actually threats on Mars, 4 different types: dust devils, dust storms, meteors, and cold waves, and each of those actually does different things. So you can see a bit of details there. Dust devils. Dust is a constant factor on Mars. It affects all of your equipment and damages it. So yeah, those dust devils aren't probably one of the most serious threats, but they do damage things. Dust storms definitely more threatening. Your oxygen, your MOXIE builders don't work, or your water producing moisture evaporators. So if you have colonists in their domes and those buildings stop working, well, they could suffocate and die of thirst potentially if you really screw up. Meteors can literally land on your buildings or units and destroy them, but occasionally will give extra resources like metal or even polymers, which is much more valuable. And you've got the cold wave. It's Mars, so it's pretty cold to say the least, but occasionally it gets incredibly cold, so that causes drones, field vehicles and buildings to start working, especially water towers. So yeah, that could also stop water getting from to where you need it, your domes, and keeping your colonists alive. So yeah, all of those issues could affect us. And I definitely want to have it a certain level here. I'm thinking about I don't know, 250 difficulty bonus, 200 to 250. I want to get a number of these so we can actually see them happen. Probably at least 2 points in each one, and preferably I want a lot of metals and water. Concrete doesn't matter so much, I would say. Details here matter, of course. The temperature, the altitude affects certain things like wind turbines. The higher up you are, the better. The flatter the land, the more stuff you can make. That certainly matters. So what about over here? Okay, there's a lot of metals and a lot of water here. Let's try and get the threat level I want. Well, that would be a crazy... that would be very high on the threats. It's got good resources as well. So what you reckon about that, chap? Difficulty bonus is 230%. It's relatively flat, which I'm not sure is the highest one. It's pretty cold, minus, well, 43 Celsius to say the least. That's pretty cold. It's a bit below, I'm not sure if there is a sea level on Mars, but it's a bit below the average. Yeah, not much concrete, but that shouldn't be an issue. There should be enough still to make buildings. Dust devils are probably the least damaging type of threat. So it's not too many of those. That would be an issue with cold waves. They're pretty nasty, but it's not the maximum. So I'm thinking about that start. 230% is pretty decent difficulty bonus. Yeah, so unless there's any thing in chat mentioning otherwise, I'm going to select that now basically. So yeah, let's get started with that then. Okay.
Welcome to Mars.
Right, welcome to Mars, Commander. Mission Control Log 1. Welcome to Mars. Everyone at Mission Control is impatient to see the rocket touching down and unloading its precious cargo. Our remotely controlled eyes and hands on the Red Planet, the drones and rovers. Our goal is to secure a foothold for humanity by building the first Martian dome. This daunting endeavour will allow the brave pioneers, the founders, to settle on Mars and prove that the colony is sustainable. But until then, we have to make sure the colony has enough construction resources, water, oxygen and power. Mission sponsor is Space Y, and commander profile, of course, is the politician for extra funding. Okay, let's close that then. And this is Mars. Welcome to Mars. Let's designate a landing site for the rocket. A promising area has already been scanned for resources. Select the rocket from the highlighted icon at the bottom of your screen. So there's basically a hints feature which gives all of these messages at some point based on what you're doing. I could probably turn it off at the point where I've played up to the game. I know most of it, if not nearly all of it, but I'm going to leave it on for this first Let's Play. Right, but for now, let's close that one. So this is the area that has been scanned, and that icon is concrete. That's great that we found that. That's basically I can use an Explorer rover to find out whatever that feature is. And yeah, so I think I should have a look down here in more detail. So to be honest, I would have wished there was more here. I can certainly get better stats in this. There is metals here as well, which we can see there. The metal deposits. If you get very lucky, you get polymers, but no, we haven't been. So I think I'm gonna set my rocket down towards near that concrete initially, and I definitely need to do some scanning coming up of this area. Doesn't look like there's much concrete either, which isn't surprising with the settings I picked actually. We have to pick flat terrain. So yeah, I think I want to be pretty near to this. You've got to be a bit careful where you land your rocket, because you'll want to build certain buildings later on, and if your rocket gets in the way, that can be an issue, because you won't immediately be able to return it to Earth. You need to get the fuel for it. I'm thinking of there. That gets the metal in range, it gets the cement or future concrete. Yeah, so how about that? You can actually see the rocket land. A rocket looks a bit like Shamu, like a killer whale almost. I'm not sure if that was intentional or not, but it looks like a little eye in the mouth there. Yeah, maybe that's slightly BFG inspired for Space Y. Camera controls, yeah, so basic WAS and tilt and whatnot. So, and this mentions constructing buildings, which I'll be getting to very shortly. So you can literally move around to see from every angle. You can zoom in to have a look at your drones, and there's pause options and speed options. Play 3 times as fast, 5 times as fast, or normal speed. These drones are going to build our initial colony and be very useful throughout the game, and eventually when I get a dome up and running, yeah, we'll get people here as well. So what we're going to be trying to achieve are these milestones, and you probably get scores based on when you do certain things, and also it's affected by your difficulty bonus as well. So in this Let's Play I intend to play up to a certain point, maybe up until here, and who knows, I may even continue on longer than that. Depends how well this Let's Play does your initial videos. Right, currently I'm streaming of course, but this will be uploaded to YouTube via videos probably from tomorrow. So right, so we've got a couple of options, notifications up here, which I'm going to get to shortly. I have a quick look at chat. If you have any questions, chat, any ways, anything you want me to discuss about, you have to let me know. Right, so when it comes to exploration, we need to select an area to scan. So I can literally scan any of these grids, but I'm going to want to initially scan areas that are near to where I'm starting, definitely. You can see details. We actually have a special orbital probe, which I can't actually use yet, so maybe I shouldn't have actually taken out on the initial rocket. I should have brought more drones, actually. I kind of forgotten that. Luckily I only picked one. So, but they'll be very handy coming up, and I will be getting more rockets landing with those, definitely. I think I'm going to explore there first, and then after that we'll go there. There's a, you can see, yeah, if you look at this, it also mentions what resources are liable to turn up. Now I really want a water start, frankly. Oh, there's water there. So let's have a look there next. Then I'll go there, and you can line up five of these. So I think yeah, let's do up to that amount. So that is the exploration taken care of. There is a special building that I'll be making soon to enhance that. If you have a look in the tech tree though, here's the tech tree, and I did mention a bit earlier on in stream how this works, but I'll definitely mention again since more people have turned up. So yeah, this is particularly interesting. This is with the politician option that I picked. So this is Martian patents. License Martian technology for use back on Earth. Earn 500 million funding. This tech is repeatable and can be researched multiple times. So this should help a heck of a lot because funding is pretty difficult. That's one reason why I picked the politician. Now all of these techs are actually semi-random, although I think they are weighted to turn up at a certain point in the tech tree. For example, that's an early game tech. It's probably always liable to turn up within the first 4 or 5 techs, but not going to be turning up at an end game tech stage. But yeah, all of these techs can basically change their position based on every game, so it's different every game. That's quite an interesting system. Really like it, in fact. So at the options that I have here, which yeah, different every time, I have extra water production from the moisture vaporator, which I can't remember if I brought one of those or not. If I lack water, I'm going to need some, put it that way. There's apartments, which I don't need yet because I don't have a dome.
Mars official radio with
There's a radio, which I'll come to in a minute. This, I did actually bring an Explorer, and you can get extra science from it, so I'm going to pick that more than likely for the first bit. That's wind turbines, that's pretty good. More applicants will start to appear on Earth. Okay, by far that is the best option. And then put that in the list as well. It's quite a good idea to stick more than one tech in the list because you can get extra research bonuses sometimes for getting things like that. There's various types of anomalies. I can't quite remember what I think that one might be a breakthrough anomaly. So let's get the Explorer, which I did bring on the first rocket, which it wasn't initially set up to have, I think, from memory. So we'll get that over there. There's concrete here. I'm going to want to get that up and running straight away. So I'm going to create a concrete extractor pretty soon, but I actually want to get a sensor tower up probably before. So this will increase my scanning. Before I make big decisions about where I want to place my colony exactly, I probably want to scout this area a bit. So I think first of all I'm going to put a scanner up here. Now one thing which I wish they would add is an option to have these sector lines appear on the zoomed in map. That's something they could add, because what I want to do is have this up here, but I need to have it within a certain distance of the rocket, within that distance for it to potentially work. Now with this scanning tech, you can get a tech later on where it doesn't need energy or maintenance, but sadly I don't start with that in this, the options I picked, so it's going to make things a little harder. Right, So yeah, I want to be precise with this because I want to get it up as far as possible up here. So that's unexplored, so I don't want to put it there. That's too far from the rocket, so I can put it there, and that should, yeah, work out. That's within that sector, and like that bit there. So what I need to do is basically get that built. I need metals and electronics. Everything costs resources. So I'm going to get the Explorer, which actually, not the Explorer, the RC rover, which starts with drones, which do all the building work. Let's get it over here. And there are actually metals and resources on the initial rocket that I brought. So I'll actually put it there. I think I need some electric, so the drones will have to get it from there. Right, let's actually get started then. I'm going to make some concrete very soon, but I'll get started on this. Have a quick look at chat, see if there's any questions. Right, let's get started on the scanner then, which will help a lot. So let's up the speed a bit as well. So the drones, we start with 4 on there, 3 on I actually brought with me. So they're very important in getting things done. So that's going to pick up some metal to work on that, and it's just in range of that. So hopefully one of them will go back to get some electronic parts, which I need. Okay. Oh, one of them brought one with it. So, that reminds me, I actually need electricity for this. Without the special tech, I'm not used to not having it. So I gotta build some, electricity for that to work for the time being. Right. So I think it shouldn't matter. I've not scanned that. Maybe I could have put that up there. I'm not entirely sure. For the radio, let's change this around. There's a number of options. For now, let's put Surviving Mars on. Okay. So let's get some power lines. Okay. Let's put that up there. Okay, good guess. So I think I put a solar. What do I need for this one? It's 2 power, so I don't need a crazy amount. I'll just have a basic solar panel up here, which should be enough. Sadly, the solar panel doesn't actually work at night though, so this will turn off at night. So I may want to change the electricity type to something like the wind turbine at some point. But the problem is wind turbines have machine parts maintenance, and of course machine parts don't naturally occur on the Martian landscape. You have to bring them from Earth. So yeah, I've got to be careful with how much of those I use. Let's bring that up there, get them made. The drones will grab some metals to make the power lines and also the solar panel, and then the scanner should start working. Okay, so gather the metals. Good little drones. Okay.
Anomaly analyzed. Milestone achieved.
Excellent. So normally scans and new techs are available for research. I've just completed my first milestone. Autonomous sensors and subsurface heating has become available. Now autonomous sensors is the tech I was just mentioned, I believe. So sensor towers no longer require power or maintenance. I would quite like that. Currently I'm researching that for the extra research. I think I'm going to take that one out and put that one in. It's also revealed that one. So we are going to get cold waves at some point. So we're going to need those more likely. I actually haven't tried those out yet. So yeah, but that could be interesting coming up. Right, so let's get back to completing that, and it's online. So now the sensor works, and you can see the sensor tower's boost is giving us a significant bonus to all of this scanning. Arguably I needed it down in that direction more, but yeah, having it up in towards there, this part of the map is more useful long term maybe. So terrain wise it looks like we're on a low part of the terrain and there's a big mesa up here perhaps. So yeah, some things like the wind turbine are affected by the elevation. You can see that it's only 13%, which is not that amazing. So not going to be that great on this start, but I will definitely want to use those coming up. Right, so that's working great. Let's get some concrete on the go. We're going to need concrete to make stuff. So if we get a concrete extractor, if you place this carefully, you can see the available resource amount there. What I want to do is yeah, basically get as much concrete going as possible. I think I'm gonna have the concrete extractor located in that direction. Not exactly sure where my first colony will be in near to this. It's gonna be close, but I haven't found any good resources like water yet, or resources that a dome people can extract, like special metals. So I'm going to put it there. I think the concrete here isn't that great, sadly, but yeah, I'll put that there. And I'm going to need power for this as well. So let's get some power cables linked to this. Extractors kick up a ton of dust, so any buildings near to it actually get covered in it, and the more dust a building gets, the more liable it is to stop working. So I want the power a decent amount away, especially since I tend to use this, and it mentions its effectiveness is decreased by dust. So this only works during, not during the night, so it's a bit of an issue, but concrete isn't well, it's reasonably important, but it's not super crazy important, so I'll just use a solar thing there. Right, these can get down here to help the drones, and that explorer's got not much to do actually at the moment. So at this stage, once that concrete gets done, I'm pretty much waiting on exploring for quite a while. I can then get another rocket. I do have enough funding when I yeah, want certain things. I need to remind myself what I actually picked up. So I got a drone hub, which is key. That's kind of the start of the colony really. Oh, universal depots I need to make. Did I bring I didn't bring a moisture evaporator, which may have been a mistake. There's a fuel refinery which needs water, so I could really do with finding water. That's not working currently because it's night time and I use the solar thing. I'll have to change that eventually, or get that tech coming up. That's going to be the plan. So I won't need yeah, electricity at all. I think I may even get that first.
No active research.
For that. Okay. Right, what was I saying? I've forgotten. So yeah, just getting that up for the concrete. This has a variety of options as well. Priority lists. How important it is to keep maintained or working. Might as well turn that off at night since it's not going to work anyway with a solar panel. Yeah, I probably, because with Space Y we get a ton of extra rockets, I'll probably do the next rocket a bit sooner than normal perhaps. But definitely need to scout currently. That's going to be the main objective. To actually find some stuff, because I've only got one concrete. That's yeah, not great frankly at the moment. Okay, so having a quick look at chats. What do you think of the game thus far? In case of difficulty, how is the learning curve compared to other Paradox titles? I'd say if you don't watch a YouTuber first, then it takes a little... yeah, I found the learning curve a bit steep in the first couple of hours when I was playing because I didn't watch anyone. But yeah, after that, it's fine. And if you watch if you watch someone playing the first, like you are now, basically, that will help you a lot. But yeah, I did find it quite difficult the first couple of hours without having watched anyone.
Anomaly found.
Right, new anomaly, great. I can get my rover working. It's not too far away either. So let's go and explore that. I think that will give me a research boost with that icon.
Sector scanned.
That sector was scanned. Oh, there's actually another thing there, so maybe I'll get that one first. You can see a power meter for the rover there. That's something I've got to keep an eye on, certainly. Right, so that's nearly got the components. The drones have nearly finished that. Oh, and there's more concrete there, which, yeah, I'll probably want to get started on pretty soon. Oh, and I need depots. Let's not forget that. So this is basically where the resources that you make can be kept. So I'm going to have a universal depot there, which is all the resources up to 30. This is making concrete, so I'm going to obviously need a concrete depot. Let's put it there. And this actually creates waste, so let's create a dumping site there initially. Okay. And I think I'll actually have a metal depot also, so they can stick nearby metal sources in there, so I've got it more easily on hand. Okay, have a quick look in chat while the rover's busy. Right, so got any questions, chat? Just let me know. Okay, so the scanner's helping with getting this done. I still haven't found too much.
Analyzed.
I really want to find some water, basically. New techs are available. Haven't found that.
There's more
research
to the
anomaly.
barren environs of the Red Planet than meets the eye. A veritable treasure trove of undiscovered knowledge and wonder. So long as you know where to look.